Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Eva Blake.
Have you ever had one of those dreams where you wind up at school and you have no clothes on? Well, that was me. I was in a room full of people, all my classmates, and I had not a stitch of clothing on. Let me tell you how I got there. I have always been interested in sex and bodies, and I really wanted to get into sexuality work, but what I understood the opportunities were on the one hand, there was escorting and prostitution and stripping, and while I think that's great work, it's not really where I wanted to use my personal body. And on the other end, there's sex therapy, where a therapist sits in a couch or chair and the client sits in the couch and they just talk about sex, and there's no touching. And from what I've chatted with folks about, they can't even really hug. And I felt like it's not really where I want to use my brilliance. I want to find this place in the middle where I get to do both. So I found sexological bodywork in about 2007. And this is a hands-on sex education profession where we use touch and real intimacy to teach people how to be present in all of their erotic moments. It's really fascinating. It's this place of carving out the gray zone in the middle of this spectrum. So I joined this class, and for the first 6 weeks of the home study portion, I was calling my friends. Hey, would you like to be a guinea pig for any of the following? Would you like to tell me about your favorite fantasies or your favorite sexual experiences? Can I give you an anal massage? Can I map your genitals? Or would you like to be part of a communal erotic exploration with me? Hello? Are you still there? So after fingering my friends, I went into the intensive portion of the training. 2 weeks in San Francisco, every single day, bodies and touching and all kinds of laboratory sex experiments. The first day is all introductions. The second day is where we get naked and get down to business. The first set of exercises is masturbation witnessing, and I am paired up with a gay man of color. There's 2 roles. 1, play with yourself, whatever that means, and 2, just simply watch without judgment. Thank God he goes first. And I realize I'm sitting 2 feet in front of a man. I haven't been sexually intimate with a man at this point for, half a dozen years. And I'm watching him tug and stroke and pinch his nipple and fuck his asshole. And I'm amazed. I'm wowed. I am in awe. And he doesn't have an orgasm. And I think, thank God. That really lets me off the hook. I don't have to have one either. So it's my turn. And we are in this corner of a room. And I'm cramped. And I can't really lay down and get comfortable. If I do, I'm going to kick somebody in the face or in the nuts. And we go through this process, and I giggle a little because, wow, I'm actually turned on. And I giggle a little again, and I'm like, oh, yeah, the arousal's gone. It's dead. Drop dead. Completely dead. No big deal. And I giggle a little bit more. There's all kinds of noises in the room. There's a dozen more people trying to rub one off in this hellhole of sex boot camp that we're in. So there's moans and sighs and cries and crying, and I'm just kind of laughing to break my own nervousness. And the timer goes off. Thank God. I also don't have an orgasm. I don't even think I could. I can't even really get into the moment at all. I'm not quite ready to get real yet. So I get up and get dressed, and I'm trying to move from this exercise to the next piece. And in the transition, Danielle, our instructor, comes up to me. She's a little bit shorter than me. She has short, dark hair, dark, captivating eyes. She has ample breasts, and really anything larger than this is very ample for me, so I'm excited because I'm looking down at her. She looks up at me and she says, would you like to be our model for tomorrow, our demo model? And I say, uh-huh. For what? She says, for masturbation coaching. I stop breathing. Swallow. I'm super awkward and self-conscious. And I say, well, are you going to ask anyone else? She says, no, just you. Okay, well, why did you ask me? She says, well, you looked like you were having a really good time with yourself there. You were laughing and giggling, and so, thought maybe you'd want to do this for the crowd. Right? So on the one hand, I felt totally flattered. I was the first one to be asked to be a demo for the class, and I really wanted to work individually with these ladies who were the instructors. And on the other hand, this is a part of my sexuality that I have only ever shared with one other person at a time. And I just agreed to do it in front of 25 people. Holy shit. I'm scared. The fear and the anxiety sets in. And I look at Danielle, and she just continues to smile and beam at me. And I can feel her confidence in me, and I just trust that. I say, okay, I'll do this. So I walk through the rest of the day with this secret inside of myself. Oh my God, I'm gonna fuck myself in front of 25 strangers. Whoa. Okay. I get to the place where I'm staying, and I call my partner at the time, and I explain the situation, and bless their heart, they cheer me on with such adoration. Of course, honey, of course they would choose you. You're brilliant, you're wonderful, you're perfect, you're gonna do great. Yeah, okay. I'm still not really breathing at the time, and even though we've been saying this to each other because we love each other and it's our antidote to all the bullshit in our society that tells us that we're too fat, too thin, not enough, too much, all of this, I still blow it off. I can't quite trust that. I toss and turn all night long. When I wake up in the morning, I spill the coffee, I break a glass, I can't eat anything, and my stomach is eating itself. I'm on an hour-long bus commute into town, and it's full of people, and they smell, and they're near me, and I'm nauseous, and I really just want to have a temper tantrum, because I'm a total wreck. So I get to class, we do our warm-up, and Danielle sets up the scene. We're on one side of the room, and the class is on the other side. Mind you, there's 25 of them. She turns to them and she asks for patience and caring and love and respect. She asks them to sit down and stay still and not fuck around so much and just hold the space, right? She looks at me and she's sweet and soothing and calm and vivacious. She's gorgeous. And I get to settle in because I can feel her sexual confidence and her confidence in me. And that calms me just a little bit. Right until she says, just do whatever feels natural and normal. Right, yeah. So in my fantasy of what going to the Institute for the Advanced Studies of Human Sexuality is, I imagine like pillars and this giant sign outside, out front. I imagine this great awning and rooms full of, I don't know, but sweet and sensual and delicious, and a library that I can thumb through all the volumes of sex paraphernalia, and it is far from my imagination. It is a nondescript building, glass front, just a set of numbers, no sign, no awning, even when it's raining. The building seems to not have been updated since the 70s. It has a smell. The room that we're in has been nicknamed the Sex Cave for very good reason. It's one of those rooms that's in the middle of a city block. It's 2 stories high and there's not a single window. No natural light, no sweet ocean breeze. The room is lit by fluorescence overhead. There is a duct-taped oscillating fan in the corner that has an occasional click to it. I am in the least sexy place I have ever been when I've just been asked, hey, you ready to get juicy? Right. I am so detached from normal. My normal is a fluffy bed with fluffy pillows and privacy. My normal is dimming the lights and maybe lighting some candles and putting on a soundtrack where I can, move my body and dance around and have a good time with myself. My normal is when I have a suitcase full of sex toys to choose from. This is not my normal at all. Normally, I don't have a room full of people staring at me. So here I am in front of my classmates, completely naked. And in this moment of feeling totally alienated from what's normal and natural inside this body and inside this being, I just feel like this robot. I do what I think I'm supposed to do. So I take off my clothes and I lay down on this sheet that separates me from the high traffic, all-terrain, cum-stained carpet. Hot, right? And then I just lay down in that position on my back, facing the fluorescence, knees bent, legs open. Thank God Danielle's beside me. She looks at me and we just take a few breaths together and she just says, see what happens. Let's see. Right, okay. Yeah. And if I can concentrate on her, then I can feel grounded. As soon as I think about the class, I start shaking and get scared because I'm feeling trapped in what I'm supposed to do. I feel alienated from who I really am in this moment because all of these eyes are glaring at me, looking at every inch of my naked body. So I just start with one hand on my chest and one hand on my cunt. And I take a few deep breaths. Kind of like right now. And I can feel as I begin to touch myself that my arms and legs get covered in goosebumps and my chest and my face get totally flushed and warm. My mouth is totally dry. My armpits are dripping with sweat, and my pussy is like a desert. I open my palm, and Danielle, thank God, just squirts a little lube into it. And I just, like a robot, just slap it right on there and feel this cold little jolt till it melts into warmth and familiarity. And I can feel with my left hand my breasts and my belly and my nipples, and I start to actually relax and find a little bit of a rhythm. I'm holding my pussy with my right hand and feeling my fingers just relax and settle into the folds. I'm not aroused, but I'm not running out the door. So I'm here and I'm present. I'm trying to find the wave. I'm trying to find that moment of arousal that I can follow. But I'm kind of just stumbling in the dark. And off to my left, there's this rustling. Something is happening. And all I hear, because my eyes are closed, is the door slam. And the people start moving about. And there's like a harumph. How could you do that? What a bitch. And I open my eyes. Fuck, there's people in the room again. Fuck those people, fuck those people, fuck those people. And I look at Danielle again, and she just envelops me in a warm embrace with her words and her presence, and she just says, hey, let's just try to focus, right? There's nothing that you really have to do here. In fact, you can stop at any time. And those words seem to cut through the layers of my fear and my trepidation like a laser and spark something inside of me. I wanted to know what was beyond this place. I wanted to know what was beyond this paralysis. I had come to this training for erotic embodiment, and here I was actually throwing myself off the cliff of sexual vulnerability. I wanted to go further, so I continued I touched myself a little deeper. I let my fingers slide inside of me. I pressed and I tapped and I massaged and I created a wave, and I could feel it. I could feel the arousal build. I could feel the sweat begin. I could feel the scent of my own musty fragrance. My nipples were hard. My skin was alive. And my left hand found its way all the way up to this brass medallion around my neck. And there I was, struggling again. What I really wanted to do was grip my throat. And yet, I thought, can they handle that? Can I handle that? What do they think? What do I think? Fuck this. Fuck those people. Fuck all of this. And I just gripped, thumb and fingers wrapped around, pressing into my neck. I could feel my breath and my pulse begin to slow. But I could feel myself totally alive and totally unapologetic. And wouldn't you know it, somebody's phone rang. Son of a bitch, right? And that moment just totally burst my bubble. I lost it. I lost the wave, I lost the arousal, and everything came crashing in. The judgment and the fear. Failure, embarrassment, anger, rage, power. It was all present. The tears were the wash, not the orgasm. I looked at Danielle and we both called it. I'm done. This is too much. Or just right. I wiped myself off and wrapped that nasty sheet around me and got up, and she gave me the sweetest hug, and she whispers in my ear, I'll give you my vibrator if you want to go buzz off in the bathroom. I say, thanks. I think the moment has passed. I just want to get out of here. So a few moments later, I'm down the street at the Whole Foods, right? Because it's San Francisco. And I'm looking around. I'm still in my daze and in the fog and looking around, and I'm just like, I just fingered myself in front of 25 strangers. I bet that guy hasn't done that. But she hasn't done that either. Okay, so I'm standing there loitering in the produce department and I'm fondling the oranges. Something is starting to happen to me. I'm not teetering anymore. I'm beginning to come solid, like a mountain. And I'm realizing that I'm stepping out of the hex. The greatest hex of Western civilization, that we ought to be ashamed of our bodies and afraid of our desires. And I can feel it fracturing off of me like an avalanche. My shoulders drop, my spine lengthens. I literally grow taller in this moment and take up a little bit more space. I step out of the hex and into the truth. I am perfect, just like this.